Welcome to Cooking with the Smiths. Today we are making brownies. These are just not ordinary brownies. This is a wonderful recipe that my grandmother used to make. And brownies are iced with a chocolate coffee icing. And they are fabulous. The first thing we're going to do is preheat our oven to 325 degrees. Then I'm going to take a stick of butter, just regular salted butter. And we are going to melt this over a very low heat because we don't want to burn the butter or the chocolate, and until it is all melted, and then we're going to cool the mixture. But right now we're just going to melt it on low and slow. Okay, our chocolate is all melted with the butter. Now we're just going to set it aside and let it cool. I do want to remind you, a minute ago when I told you about the chocolate squares that we added with the butter, I just used these Baker's semi-sweet chocolate, and it's 2 squares of these. Okay, next you will need 3 just large eggs. I'm going to add these eggs and I'm going to slightly beat them. Then I'm going to add 1 1/4 cup of sugar. So I'm going to beat these slightly. And now I'm going to add some sugar. Okay, next you're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. Add a little more there. Well, I'm not doing too good here. There we go. To 1 cup of flour. And I'm going to just sift this together. Okay, our chocolate mixture is cooled. The reason that you need to have your chocolate mixture cooled is you do not want to add the hot chocolate to the egg mixture because your eggs would cook. So it is important that you do cool the chocolate mixture. Now I'm just going to slowly turn this on and add the chocolate mixture a little at a time. Okay, now we're going to slowly add the sifted flour and baking powder that we did a little earlier. Okay, we've about got it all mixed up. Oh, that looks delicious and smells really good. Alright, so that is all done. And now I'm going to spray, I like the baking pan, it's just a lot easier. It says to use a 9x13 pan. I do not have a 9x13. This is just a little different. So I'm going to just spray my pan. And now we'll just add the batter, and again we're going to put it in a 325 degree oven, and it's going to bake for about 25 minutes. Okay, it's all ready to go in the oven, again 325 degrees for 25 minutes. All cooks make mistakes, and one of the main ingredients that I forgot to add to my brownies is the vanilla. So it is, I can't add it, they haven't cooked, I just took them right back out of the oven, so I'm just going to add a teaspoon of the vanilla and just drizzle it over the top, and just take this spoon and stir it in. That would have been an important ingredient to have forgotten. They sure wouldn't have tasted as good, but thank goodness I did remember. So don't you forget when you make these to add it's a lot easier if you add your vanilla to it when it's still in the bowl. Okay, we're going to try this again. and go back in the oven at 325 for 25 minutes. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to make the coffee icing, and that's what makes these brownies so good and different from other brownies that you've had. Okay, we're going to add a half a stick of butter and then we're going to add a half a cup of cocoa. And we're going to turn it on low and just cook it until it's all incorporated. Now I just used, the cocoa I used is the Nestle's Toll House cocoa. I think Hershey's has a cocoa, you can, any cocoa, just a half a cup of that. So we're now going to just melt this and then I'll show you what's next. Okay, our chocolate and butter are all melted together. And now we're going to add, I know it seems like a lot, but you add the whole pack, a 16-ounce package or 1 box of powdered sugar. And you're just going to add a little at a time. And we're going to also, as we add this, we're going to add some coffee. And the recipe calls for, I think it's 4 tablespoons, but you kind of just add it to the consistency until it gets to the consistency that you like. I think I'm just going to add a little to make, and we'll just keep adding a little bit of the coffee. I'm just using, there was some coffee left in the pot this morning, and I'm just using that coffee. And we're just going to keep alternating back and forth the coffee and the powdered sugar until we get it to the right consistency.
There you go.
Okay, I've got the icing all mixed together. We're now going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and we're just going to stir that up. The brownies are just about ready to come out of the oven. Now the recipe says to let the brownies cool before frosting them, but I'm going to show you, when they come out of the oven, I want to show you a way I like to do them. It's a little bit different than the recipe. Okay, they're out of the oven. And the way I kind of like to do them, now you can just ice the brownies in the pan when they're cooled, just like the recipe says. But one of the things I like to do is take the warm brownie and put icing on it, and then just spread it and let it kind of just, that way it'll kind of drip down the sides a little because it's still warm. This icing may be a little too thick, but it'll sit for a minute, and I like to put them on a warm brownie. Can't tell you how good that smells. Wish you were here. Hope you enjoy it. Thank you.